David McRae, Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud, David McRae.
Inside this tube is a superpower. It's a psychology degree. And psychology degrees allow you to read minds. You're thinking right now, of course they don't, David. See? Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and everyone trying to hide their naughty thoughts. Sadly, the only mind you can't read is your own. And the reason why many of us study this degree is because we're trying to work out what's going on in our heads. I remember the day I realised what I'm trying to work out in my head. It's our first year lecture series on mental health. Today's class is depression. Our lecturer stands at the front of the room. Here are the 8 criteria for clinical depression. If someone scores 5 of these criteria, then we can give them a clinical diagnosis. Like any curious student, I start counting. That silence is pretty uncomfortable, right? Now you can understand how uncomfortable I feel looking at that number, realizing the dark cloud has followed me my whole life. It's not until today that I look up and see what it is. Depression. I've experienced periods of depression throughout my life. And during these periods, I felt alone. But I know now I'm not. According to the National Institutes of Health, 1 in 4 people experience mental illness. Maybe you have a dark cloud too. If not, think of someone in your family, a friend, a colleague, a fellow Toastmaster. One of them might be struggling with their dark cloud. I wish mental illness was just like Netflix, and we could cancel our subscription at any time. But, like Netflix, you should share your account. That day in the lecture theatre, I should have got professional support. But I didn't. Because I'm a stubborn man, and we're taught to stuff our emotions deep into our subconscious, where even the mind readers can't find them. I hid from my dark cloud, playing the party animal for my friends, and putting on the everything is wonderful face for my parents. It was exhausting. If you've put on a persona, I'm sure you know. Eventually the cracks begin to appear, and my dad spots something is wrong. I'll never forget the day he sits me down in the kitchen, looks me straight in the eyes. David, are you depressed? I have a dark cloud of internal dialogue. Do I maintain the mask? Or tell the truth? Yes. There's a cocktail of emotions that bubble over when you finally say it out loud. Relief, fear, shame. Son, try to find and focus on the small victories each day. After sharing his wisdom, silence descends. if you ever want some peace and quiet, sit in a room with two men talking about their emotions. I think to myself, Dad, I don't need a small victory. I need a big one. A couple months later, I'm in the supermarket, handing a £10 bill to the assistant. She looks at it. Wow, what a clean note. Without missing a beat, I respond, that's because I launder my money. She bursts out laughing, and I break into a smile too. I practically skip home with bags in hand. That was a small victory. I realised what Dad had meant. I started to look elsewhere for these small victories. Getting out of bed when I just wanted to roll over was a victory. Going to class instead of playing video games was a victory. Going to a party rather than watching TV was a victory. What's your dark cloud? Maybe it's mental illness, maybe it's something else. And I know it can seem like nothing will shift it. But what I've learned is we break down that dark cloud one silver lining at a time. It's exercising, even when you're tired. Spending time with loved ones, even after a stressful day. Making someone laugh, even with a corny joke. And I've told plenty of those today. It wasn't mind reading I learned at university, it was mind management. We all have a crazy storm going on up here, whether we have a mental illness or not. Small victories can settle that storm. Inside this tube is something far more valuable than a degree. It's my message to you. If you're going through a tough time right now, find your sun of small victories to shine through that dark cloud. Contest chair.